Okay. Woo. It's cold out. DF Repair. Hello, hello from Alberta, Canada. Hope all is well up there. Up there. I don't know the temperature. I'm freezing here. I keep pulling the wrong side down. Why can I not tell? There it is. Okay. Looked weird more than anything. Okay. I was trying to get a thumbnail up for this video, but I may have to do it afterwards. And it is, what is this? Can I do this? Will this mess anything up? Oh, still going. Okay, I can add my thumbnail here. Playlist, done. Audience, no. Cancel. Okay. Okay. Trying to get. Actually, we may just use this. Whoa. I don't know what I did. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, let's see what. I called my internet provider and I told them that I was only, I think what, last time we were on, I figured out that my internet connection, I was only doing about half of the upload speed. I don't know if I shared that with you guys or I figured that on another day. I don't know. And so I called them the other day, told them they ran a test. It's supposed to be like 5 megabyte upload. And it only ran, the test came back at like 3 something. And so they did an update on it and then told me to get back with them if it did not change. And I'm going to have to get back with them, but I've been busy with other things. Okay, it's running the test. It's probably going to be low right now since we're live streaming. It's still testing. I got my phone and my laptop on it. Let's see. We may wait a little bit longer to see if anybody else gets on here. It seems like the longer I run, the more people are on here. I don't want to be on for a long time tonight. I got some stuff to do. I know I'm running behind. Normally, I should be starting at 6, but got started about, what was it, 6 minutes ago, so about 6:40. This testing router is still going. Well, we'll let it just sit there and roll. But I figured tonight, I was talking to Dunbar about what was it? Oh, he was asking questions about the vacuum tool I use for cooling to fill the cooling system on the Bronco repair water pump I just did, and then we were talking about some other stuff, and it gave me the idea of doing a live stream about tools that I basically modify to make work for me. And I figured that'd be a good live stream, kind of show you guys some of the tools that I change up. Just, I mean, some of them aren't even fancy. It's just I've just kind of altered a tool to make it work, and then there's other ones that I've heavily modified. I feel kind of crappy. Then again, I just really ate my first meal probably 2 hours ago. So I had one of those days where I just ran, and finally slowed down. I feel a lot of hot air coming up, hitting me too. So router tester still going. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. That way we're not pushing 10 minutes in and not doing anything. Um, well, I will share a little story with you. I'm working on a customer's F550 here. You can see the bed behind me. And I'm trying to find a replacement steering gear, a used one, just because he doesn't want to pay the $500 or whatever it is for a new one. And the steering's not horrible, but it's got play in it. And his complaint is he was getting death wobble. Well, I shook the front end down, and the play, he's got just, what was it? I mean, it's the smallest amount of play. It's you can barely even feel it in a couple of his tie rods. And I've seen plenty of trucks have that and no issues. Now, if you've got a significant amount of play, you can see it and feel it. Okay. But this thing is, you can't even see it. You can just feel it, and it's still questionable. But his steering stabilizer is leaking, and his steering gear has slop in it. So I got a steering stabilizer to replace. I've got a new Ford one, and they were on back order for some time, but now they're, from what I understand, is they're finally filling orders. So I don't believe they're on back order. They're just shipping out in bunches. So they basically filling back orders and then trying to keep stock in dealers. The steering stabilizer came with a new. It's a larger shock, and it came with a new bracket on the frame for this. This is a 2012 F550. So I go to take the old steering stabilizer off, and the bolt zips right off, and the eyelet that goes through the drag link is ground down. And I'm like, what the hell? So anyway, I continue taking off the rest of the stabilizer, and now I'm getting hot. But I did turn my heater up just a second. Okay, I'm all over the place. So somebody originally is ground down on this, on the stud or whatever that goes into. Yeah, I'm here. So the stud's been ground down, and then I realized when I get ready to install the new one that somebody has installed a drag link on this truck that is not for this truck, because it's supposed to have the ball joint facing a different way in the pitman arm, and so the steering stabilizer can't mount right. So I have to put a drag link on this thing as well, just so we can get the stabilizer to fit. And so that's just things I keep seeing lately. It's just weird. That's kind of shoddy work if you're modifying that much just to get the thing. Why not just get the right part so it all fits right? Let's see what Moonham has to say. He said, he asked if it was still alive. I said yes. He said, okay, can you not see or hear me? I should have said that. No response. I'll look in my router test, still hasn't finished. I don't know what the deal is with that. So first tool I'm going to start off with is, I think I've shared it with you guys before. We talked about some stuff I use to get the oil rails off of 6 liters on the passenger side between the heater box and the oil rail. When you pull the valve cover off, you've got the T30 bolts to pull out of the oil rail. There's 2 of them, and I take a little ratchet, 1/4-inch drive ratchet. I should have grabbed that as well, but I don't want to step away now. But I cut down a Torx bit, and it fits in the that nut or the bit driver. It's a little ratchet in one. Is to hear you and listen. Okay, cool. And so that lets me get in there, and it's thin enough that I can get in there and break those loose. So that works very well. Let me put this back before I forget it. The next one is the glow plug tool for 6 liters. This is not the factory one. If I remember, the factory Ford one is rounded here. I'm sure this is whatever company I bought this for. This is the way they could sell it legally. I'm saying that by squaring it off, so basically it doesn't look the same. But I like to bend mine, because really all you're doing with this thing is you're getting it in the, you're sliding it in the glow plug piece, and then you're wiggling to get off. So really straight up, you don't need it straight up. But this is mainly on the driver side, the stock configuration or stock version of this straight works fine. On the passenger side, you need to bend down. If you, this basically, the fact that it bends back lets it clear the heater box, so you can use this in there, and makes life a lot easier. But then again, we all know, if you've worked on 6.0s, that the glow plug harnesses are a pain in the butt. It was not the early model, the 03, 04.5 versions in there were a solid piece that you basically use a pry bar and you wiggled out. Were they known to break? Yes, but you could still get them out sometimes without breaking. It's not until they changed to the wire and harness with a little, what would you call it, friction fit ones that fit in there, that everybody knows that if you got to pull them out, a lot of times they break. But if you can, you spray them with some penetrating fluid and try to blow out the dirt around it, and that helps drastically. The next tool is used when I started doing a lot of oil coolers and EGR coolers on the 6 liters. The best way to clean a lot of those out, especially for a ruptured oil cooler, you need to flush the cooling system, and it's constantly getting hit by hot water, and you're trying to figure out how to drain the block properly, because you can drain the radiator and get a lot out, but you still have excessive coolant in the block. And you need to pull the plugs on the side of the block to get all the coolant out and any of the junk that's settling in there that doesn't leave when you drain the radiator. And the plug on the driver's side is easy to get loose, easy to get a ratchet up to, break it loose, spin it, and then pull it out and roll away on the creeper quickly. That's no problem. It's the passenger side. It seems like everything is passenger side. That not the Torx bit, the glow plug. I'll tell you what, the passenger side just a pain in the ass. No. So I needed to get the God, I am horrible tonight. Coolant drain plug in the block on the passenger side loose. And I made this. So it's just a flat metal bar, a little rectangle, and I welded a Allen drive. I just cut an Allen the length that I wanted there, and then I took a 13mm bolt, and you can see I just welded it through on both sides. Nothing fancy, crude. I've had this thing for years, and it works great. So I'll go up, find the plug, slip this in to the plug, break it loose, and at that point, once you break those plugs loose, you may have to use this a couple times to loosen, get the O-ring to free on the plug, and then you can work the Allen loose by hand. What I do also is I put a plastic bag, like take a grocery bag, plastic grocery bag, the disposable ones, and I try to wrap it around the starter. That way we're not pumping hot coolant into the starter. So then I pull the plug, let it drain, and then put the plug back in and use this to tighten, and it works amazing. That was one of those tools that I should have probably marketed somehow, but I mean, anybody can really make this. So yeah, it's been handy. I'm trying to think of any other tool I can maybe go get. Oh, that's hot. Hot coffee. Can't think of anything else. I have one here, but I'm kind of waiting to show it. Not a whole lot of chat tonight on the live stream. Still working over here. Let's see if oh, here's another. Okay, so here's the other thing I was going to show. Oh, man. Let me get. I don't think that mailed it. Okay. I don't think I'm showing anything I shouldn't. We'll see. Guess hacked. We'll see. Oh, DF Repair, you're still working. Well, I appreciate you listening tonight. Hopefully we can entertain you. Getting a scope set up for your son. Nice. Did not get a deer this year. I'm still bummed out about that. I was wanting to get 2. I didn't get any, but I didn't get out and hunt as much as I should have. That was my big problem. Okay. Is this? Yep. Okay. Let's see. Oh, man. Uh-oh. What did I do? And that, damn. Oh, there it is. There it is. If I just learn how to do stuff. Okay, this is a picture I showed you guys. If you see community You wouldn't live without a coolant filler anymore. Is that the ones DF Repair? Is that the one that you have the adapters to put into a radiator and then it has the plug in it as well? Because I have a partial one of those, but it just seems like I never use them. I'm not going to say they're not great. Whenever I need one, the partial kit, I need to buy actually a new one that has all the pieces, but for some reason I only have like a partial kit, and it it does the job when I need it. But I agree, those things are handy. Here is anyway the picture I shared on community post the other day. I think it was a Saturday. Yeah, I don't remember. It was over the weekend. And I was doing the valve spring on this 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee with 3.6 liter in it. And I had to pull the valve covers, pull the front cover. I don't think I actually had to pull the front cover. If I would have had the tool Jeep's tool that basically pushes the tensioner in and then locks everything in place and you can pull stuff loose, I could have probably done it without, but seeing that I don't have that tool, I pulled the front cover and removed timing components, pulled the intake cam on the driver's cylinder head, and I replaced one of the valve springs on the on number 4, the middle cylinder intake spring. And in this picture, I just have a snap-on puller bracket. I made my own. You can see a flat piece of steel there that I've drilled some holes. I anchored it to the intake bolts, and then I just used a bolt to attach to that plate. I left it loose just so it had some movement, and then I had a what is it, 6 by 1 millimeter. Actually, it's a 6-liter intake manifold bolt with some washers on it here that I ran into the cam journal cap. And then if you look in the mirror here, right here, if you can see in the cursor in the mirror, what that is a 13 millimeter 12-point deep well socket that I cut a chunk out of the side so I can compress that spring and remove the keepers and then install the new spring. And it, don't get me wrong, it was nerve-wracking the whole time to do it, but it worked, because you're always afraid something's gonna give up, or it's gonna slide out and spring out. So it worked rather well though. David here, yeah, the vacuum fill once, they're awesome. I use one with cat loaders and everything. Oh, the vacuum one, yeah, I agree. The vacuum style, I've used that for years. I imagine I've had mine for close to 10 years, and I love it. It works very well. Now my head's getting cold. So yeah, this was very handy. Some of these pullers tools helps out drastically. Dunbar, hello. Okay, so the last tool is just well, I made it years ago, and it's just a cheap coolant pressure tester. I can take this gauge on and off and just put a hose on it. I don't think it's loose. I think I tightened it up. But I put a long hose on it, which I'll probably leak some coolant on. And this gives me the ability to tap into a cooling system and test drive it and monitor my coolant pressure. So if my cooling system pressure, like say it's a turbocharged vehicle, and I suspect head gasket failure, and we're getting boost in the, or compression in the cooling system, this is how I can do it. And so it's nothing fancy. I really don't even remember what fitting that is, but you can get teased from something else. You guys might know what that is. I think it's a compression fitting for airlines or something. So uh, I use TN to the cooling system, and I run this up to like the driver's mirror so I can run down the road and watch that. But then I found that it also works very well to tap into cooling system on cars that I don't have adapters for. And then it also allows me to tap into the cooling systems and test the caps to see if they're either um, relieving pressure before they're supposed to. Say if it's a 16-pound cap and it's relieving, at 10, or if it's holding more than it's supposed to, which can cause issues as well. So that has been very handy. And also, then whenever I figured out that I could just pull the gauge off and connect it in the hose as well, then I can go drive and check. Then I don't have this big the uh, plunger or whatever you want to call it in the vehicle as well. So it works really well. I think I bought this. It's a Stant. It's a name brand one, but I bought it. Can't remember where I bought it, but you guys could do the same thing. It's been that one has been a very handy tool. So I have a regular Snap-on one that I use that has the typical end on it that fits on the adapters and works well. But hmm, I know I've got other stuff, but I can't think of anything right now. I should have spent longer thinking about this today. I've got some wrenches that I grind down, but wrenches are pretty common that everybody uh, grinds down to make them fit, make them thinner or just work better. That's my little show and tell. What do you guys think we should talk about, or is there anything you guys, any questions or tools that you guys have made, or is there something else you guys want to talk about? Nope. Okay, let's see if we can find something else. A bunch of emails. What's the deal? Oh, that's here. Do that. I'll say. Oh, that's me with all the emails. Online Premiere. Hey, my electric bill's lower. It's paying off to have this waste oil heater. Been kind of a pain. I had to get a replacement part for it. Moonum, I have a transmission off a van. Will it fit in an F 250? I mean, as long as it was two-wheel drive. I know that there's ways to convert your two-wheel drive transmission to four-wheel drive. I have not personally done it, so I can't say. But if it's like a torque shift, let's say a 2005 E series with a 6 liter in it, and you want to put it in a two-wheel drive, okay, 2006 F250. Okay, van was 2006, 2004 rear-wheel drive. I do believe it will work. If you're going from which a van's two-wheel drive to an F250 that's two-wheel drive, and if it's a 6 liter. Now, I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I would imagine the gasoline transmission is going to be different than the diesel. And I think that might be in gearing, if I remember correctly. Bell housing may be different as well. 4 speed or 5 speed? Oh, Dunbar's asking a question. I'm sorry. Well, if it's a 2006, it would probably be the. Internally, they are saying van is a power stroke. Yeah, okay. So if it's going 6 liter to 6 liter, I would imagine it'd be the same. The worst, what was it? Was no, I don't think the 6 liter had a weird torque converter year. That was the 6.4 had. I think some of the 6.4s had an 8 bolt or 8 stud torque converter, and then later on they had a 6. And so I think the 6 liter was always a 6 stud torque converter. So I believe it should work. See what else I can figure out to talk about. Well, then I guess I could just. Oh, I have something. I have something. Let me find it and I'll share it with you guys. Let me go find it. I want to know what you all think about this. I saw this. Actually, there's two things. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, here we are. Here we are. Let me flip over. What is the difference here? It's not what I wanted to go to. There it is. I'm waiting for the live. I don't know what just happened. Okay. Everybody see the picture? Wait to see what you guys say. I'm gonna go. Oh, son of a gun! I can't do anything. Sorry. There we are. I really need to figure out another system where I can put things up there and search other stuff while I'm doing kind of multitask. Oil filter is working good so far. I have a video filmed. I just need to edit it and put it together for you guys for the latest oil test. And then I want to do, now that I've done that test, I actually need to get a part that I'm hoping will take care of what I'm chasing. We'll find out. I don't know. Okay, so this, I hope to have that video out. I'm hoping possibly next week, put that out, and then we can maybe discuss that in live stream, and we'll discuss the oil test, and then discuss my idea of what may fix the issue that I'm chasing with it, and what you guys think about it. So what we have here on the screen is not an SCR. This is inline. This is Fast. So I believe this is the same company as Fast Fuel Systems. Up here, top left corner. Wait for it to load. Okay. So you can see it's the same Fast as the Fast Fuel Systems, but they are now offering an EGR filter system. And I believe it acts like a catalytic converter. Actually, I think SCR is the selective catalyst reductant. It would be urea. This is not urea. There's no injection, but it goes in line between the EGR valve and the exhaust. So these are bad pictures. You think they'd have better pictures. Let's watch this video. Let's go. Let's see if he shows us. Why? I don't know why they're not going to show us further. Okay, well, and I don't want to get copywritten for that. So it plumbs in the pipe up top. We'll zoom in here. The pipe up here by the intake comes up here. That is the pipe that goes down to the exhaust manifold. So you get exhaust gases feeding up from the manifold. And then we have the top of the EGR valve here, little plastic piece you can see. And this elbow right here is feeding into the EGR valve. So what they're doing is they're diverting exhaust gases through this catalyst, I'm guessing, and then into the EGR valve. And so their theory, I believe, is so that all the issues we have with EGR valves gumming up from carbon, that is their fix. But I don't know how it's clean. So let's see. Let's read it. The Fast EGR filter system is a revolutionary upgrade for the 6.7 power stroke, which they are other versions for the Cummins and the Duramax, if I understand correctly. So revolutionary upgrade to 6.7 power stroke engine by removing 85% of the particulate matter that would otherwise circulate through your engine. This filtration system drastically improves long-term reliability. Without the Fast EGR filter in place, particulate matter soot builds up throughout your EGR system and engine, causing premature wear and ultimate failure of vital components. By installing the Fast EGR filter, you're eliminating 85% of your particulate matter that could otherwise damage your engine. Unfiltered EGR system can lead to clogged EGR coolers, clogged EGR valves, particulate matter buildup in intake, particulate matter buildup in grid heaters, buildup in intake valves, buildup on top of pistons, excessive particulate matter induced in your engine oil, or introduced. And I do agree with that. The benefits of this is filters out 85%. Okay, they've already said that. Extends the life of the EGR cooler and EGR valve. Okay. Reduce particulate matter buildup on grid heater, intake valves, inside of intake line, proper airflow. Build up on piston rings, reduce soot content in engine oil verified by oil sample analysis. Wow. Okay, they did that much testing too. Good for them. Fast EGR filter system specs: 409 stainless steel body, 85%. Good Lord, they beat up that 85 filtration. Self-cleaning, auto regeneration, low maintenance, specifically designed for use in EGR stream of diesel engines, not an off-the-shelf filter. So it seems weird, and that's not a bad price. I don't know if it's a pre-order of, looks to be $1,200, which is, to me, that's a damn good price. Because if you think about it, one EGR valve is what, $300 to $500? How much is an EGR valve? There's another tool or a thing I'm going to look up. I highly doubt that both of them fit. That would be a feet. So let's do 6.7 power stroke EGR valve. Here's one. Yeah, we're around $300. And I really don't, since Ford installed a flap, so basically it's a diverter valve that's vacuum operated on the 6.7. Ever since they installed that on the systems, where when they're not using EGR, it diverts the air away from the EGR valve. It helped out drastically on EGR valve failure, but we still saw it. But they're also advertising that this keeps a lot of the gunk out of the engine, period. And I will agree with that. I'd love to see it on a truck. I'd love to see it work, and maybe I'll get to do that one day, but I'm a tight ass and haven't bought a diesel to actually drive. Got a diesel tractor now. Maybe one day. Maybe one day, if this makes me enough money to make a payment on a truck, I'll buy a truck. What is the other? I'm hoping this actually works. I truly am, because getting away from emissions is not the, like, how to explain this? I believe in most of what emissions do is a good thing. And I'm not one of those tree huggers, but if I think we're all probably old enough here to remember roughly 20 years ago. And if we're all around this, older than me or around the same age, you remember working on cars from the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, and you couldn't let them run in a garage for very long, or even starting up outside. They just stunk. The exhaust was not clean. And I guess my biggest thing is, I think I've said it before, is you'd let them run in the shop and you'd instantly be overwhelmed by exhaust smell. So you'd have to open a door, hook up the exhaust system, which you should be doing. And then I want to say it was around 2010 that I started noticing the vehicles, you could let them, a lot of them you could let sit and run, especially the gas, and the diesel's getting better too. The diesel lets off a weird smell though, which I don't know if it's bad or good, if it hurts you long term. But the exhaust has gotten better over the years. So what I'm getting at is, if we find ways to make stuff even better, is it going to cost you? Yeah. But what if it makes your diesel last longer as well? Because we know that any of you guys that work on any of the new trucks, a 6 liter is a prime example, that carbon buildup in the system is nasty. It's everywhere, even on the early ones, and the later ones have gotten cleaner, and they still, some of the 6.7s I've seen are pretty nasty. Quite a bit of carbon buildup in the intake system on those. So I'm hoping this actually works very well. Not a fan of fast fuel systems. I've not had good luck with them. Okay, I'm going to refer to that. The few I've dealt with, I don't care for. I like Air Dogs better. They're very similar, but I just like some of the things about AirDogs, particularly their filters, um, I like better, and then it's the way they go about stuff. Um, I feel like it's better. But I feel like my opinion probably is just like the piss and match of trucks nowadays. You it's really engineers jump from company to company, and Bosch makes all the fuel systems and the emission systems, so they're all kind of the same. Let me see if I can find DF repair piece on a shop, and you could not see. Yes, you're right. I remember your fast pump issue. Yeah, and on Fast's, I guess I shouldn't say anything bad about them because they took care of the customer. They really did. Uh, as soon as they figured out, they sent the part out. No questions. They didn't question anything. They just said, "Wow, that shouldn't have been running," and took care of the customer. So nothing bad about them, and the truck's still running fine. I've seen a lot of fast. I guess the where my issue is, I've seen a lot of trucks lately, and I'm getting ready to do one where the fast fuel pumps aren't long term aren't great, and so it could be just I'm seeing more fast. So I guess really shouldn't go off of that. Let's see if I can find this other thing. That's not it. There's that one. Where's the other one I just saw a little bit ago? Where's that one? I swear he had them on here. Oh, there we are. There's that. I have not started building my 6.0. I wanted to. I was actually talking to my wife the other day about that truck because there are large holes. The cab corners were rusting out, and they were starting to. Well, now I can fit my foot in them, and so I'm on the edge. I was going to fix them, but now I don't know if the cab's worth keeping because it is a northern truck. The back half of the frame looks like crap. The front half isn't too bad. So my wife thinks I should just scrap it, get rid of it, and start over eventually. I don't know. I'm I'm on the edge. That is not what I wanted. This computer is so touchy. Okay, here we are. Victim. I found it. Give me a second. I have all the parts sitting for it. I should maybe build it and just sell it to somebody. But people tell me all the time. My brother had the idea a while back. He goes, "Why don't you just build engines?" I said, "Because I don't have the money to create a warranty system. Because I don't care what you do when you're building something like an engine and you're sending it out to somebody and trusting them to put it in properly, and then you know set everything up. Well, if they do something wrong and the engine has a failure, but I can't prove that they did it, well, I'm eating the engine replacement, and I don't feel like doing that. And it's the same thing as when you find you find an engine on Marketplace. I always love ones the people that have used 6.0s. I kind of keep an eye out for 6.0s on Marketplace just for decent price things, but it's always tough. And people want 2 grand for a used engine with over 100,000 miles on it, or more, and I just can't. I can't justify that. And then there's people that have. I get a kick out of it whenever I see like a Chevy 350 that's been rebuilt by somebody and it's got all kinds of fancy stuff supposedly in it, and they just want what they have in parts, and nobody wants to give them that, because what if they assembled it like crap? How do they know it's gonna work? What the hell? Okay. USA. Okay, here we are. Here we are. What the hell did I just do? You ever do something and then you can't remember what the hell you did? Okay. Okay. USA. I thought it was that. Here we are. That is not what I wanted to get to. Well, that's it, but that's not that. Okay. There. There's that. I think this will get me to the same thing. They have very poor information. Good Lord, the price they want for this. That fast kit's priced relatively well. Okay. Let me flip over. I agree. The only way I will use a used engine is to gut it and re-ring it, and then I don't go that far. I will easily. I mean, I won't buy. If I was to buy off marketplace, yes. Um, I will search for a used engine with lower miles, as low as I can get on. If you go to car-part.com and it searches salvage yards near you, or you can search anywhere, and I will search and then I'll contact the salvage yard. You know, I don't know why. Oh man, I'm already 53 minutes in. Um, get the engine. I'll drop the oil pan, and I'll always check some mains and some rod bearings. If they're in good shape, I'd imagine the rest of the engine is decent and will do the job. And I've been very successful at that point. Um, I've had a couple engines that I've torn down and found junk, and you send the engine back, and you tell them flat out, you're like, hey, this has got messed up main or messed up rod bearing, and you just give them the facts, and most of the time, for me, they deliver the engines to me, and so then they'll pick up and deliver me another one. Let's see, flip over, share that. I'm gonna drink coffee before I start. Okay, so this is, I don't know what the LHG stands for. Liquid heat generator. Okay, so liquid heat generator for Power Stroke and Cummins, and this mounts up and is driven by your accessory drive, and I'm guessing it's electronically controlled to where basically somehow it taps into your cooling system and superheats your cooling system, and once it gets your cooling system up to temperature within a range, it shuts off. Let's see, the LHG using advanced technology provides extremely rapid engine warming. The system quickly and efficiently brings an engine up to and maintains its proper operating temp, dramatically reducing time. This results in improved fuel economy, reduced emissions, low and significantly reduced engine wear. As an added benefit, the system also provides extremely rapid window de-icing. Yeah, okay, because it gets your coolant system. Okay, on equipped 6.7, during testing in freezing conditions, an LHD equipped 6.7 rig was blowing hot air into the cabin within a couple minutes and achieved full operating temp in around 6 minutes. I would have rather them not just say that. I'd have rather them gone through a test and made a video of it or something, and documented it and actually show that, rather than just be kind of vague. Because I mean, really, that's what they're saying it does. So I want to see proof. Blowing hot air into the cabin within a couple minutes and achieved full operating temperature in 6 minutes, which is impressive. A stock rig running the same test took 22 minutes. The difference is dramatic. With the average commute currently estimated around 27 minutes, it's a significant relation. In other words, during your typical 27-minute commute in freezing temps, a non-LHD rig is running dirty, and they are correct. I agree. That's exactly what leads to DPF clogging. Yes, regen cycles more contaminated, moving through the engine, excessive engine wear. It's just the fact that running an engine below its ideal operating temp causes problems, and this is especially true on today's emissions-laden diesel. This is a 50-state legal way to solve legitimate address the issue that use flame, diesel fuel, or exhaust gas. LSU uses coolant and the magic of fluid dynamics. It's serpentine belt driven, and coolant is plumbed in and out of the unit. The LSG does its job there. An advanced smart controller monitors conditions and ensures proper operating temperature. Consistently running the engine is far cleaner, more efficient. Yeah, liquid heat generators is a very capable. Only adds 8 to 16 kilowatts, 7,000 to 55,000 BTU of heat to the engine coolant circuit and heater core based on engine RPM. The system is fully automated, gauges and disengages the unit based on coolant temp. Load operation. The LHD works when it needs to and shuts itself off when it doesn't. The smart controller even monitors the vehicle's usage. If the truck hasn't been ran at a time, the smart controller will prompt the LHD to initiate a cycle. It takes care of itself. I don't know what that means. This unit performs better, have fewer maintenance needs, cost less, and far easier to install. I'm not disagreeing one bit. I think they're onto something here. I think what you will see, which is really not a big deal, and if anything, it's a good thing, because the customer, once they have it installed, may be more aware of the fact that they need to change coolant. It probably, the fact that it gets your coolant up to temp that quick, it probably will break your coolant down a lot faster. But I mean, half the time manufacturers want you to change your coolant out every 100,000 miles. So, I mean, if you just drain and fill your cooling system every 20, you're doing better, and you'll have a better outcome than if you left it in for 100,000. Yeah, so I don't know about this kit. I'd imagine on the 6.7 you could not run this and that fast at all. They would, I believe they're mounted probably in the same area. This doesn't give fitment for use on single alternator vehicles only. Yeah, so in this case, it probably mounts in the secondary alternator area on the 6.7, which is where that fast kit kind of sits as well. So I don't think that could work. Give me one second. Here's dog barking. I'm trying to figure it out. No, you want to come in? No. Come on. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that. Stop sharing. It's supposed to get down to 20 tonight. here. Yesterday was 80. Today's 40s. I'm sure you guys are experiencing similar. If you're in Canada, I'm sure you never saw 80. So the dog was outside. Him being a German Shepherd, he doesn't mind the cold, but he's getting older, and I'm starting to notice little things where his joints just aren't working. Though I did run over him years ago with my truck. Yeah, that was scary. He wasn't my dog at that time. He's my renter's dog. Um, but I remember he would always chase me. Well, he still runs beside my vehicles constantly. Will you not bark? And he anyway, he always chases alongside. And that night I had pulled down to my shop, and normally I just nosed up to my shop and then went into work. And whenever I'd come out, I'd back out down my driveway and then turn around and go the other way. And this night I backed in to unload some stuff on my truck. So then whenever I was leaving my shop, I didn't go the way he was expecting, and I ran over him with one wheel. And thankfully it was in my I don't know if you guys have seen, I've shown you probably on the live stream, that Mazda I have that's jacked up on 33s. Thankfully it was that, so it was a real wide tire and plenty of room that he didn't get caught from anything else. And he was hurting for a couple of days, but he was limping around a little bit and he was fine. I don't know if, I mean, I felt the truck go over, so I'd imagine it ran over him pretty good. I don't know. Surprisingly, he did fine. So I do notice that he limps occasionally, and I've been trying to give him good food, give him actual meat, not just the kibble. Trying to make his dog food, because I price some of the natural dog food, like what is it, Farmer's Dog and other ones. Good Lord, they want a lot. I think it came up to, Farmer's Dog doesn't even give you a price, but they estimate that it's around $13 a day. I'm like, I don't even feed myself $13 a day, and I try to eat good. Dunbar, we had 12 degrees this morning in Northwest Missouri. I think we were in the 20s. No, 30s. I don't know. 12 is so cold. Yeah. I'll tell you what, we were having 70s and then 80s, and tomorrow's supposed to be in the 50s and then 60s and then 70s. So the cold didn't bother me near what it did last year. But it's getting to that point of the year when I'm looking forward to the warmer weather. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Okay, we went over quite a bit, a lot of tools, and then the new weird things. I may have to do some more research. You guys should do some more research. 77 and 12 and 20. Yes. Okay, so you saw this. Yeah, it's just I mean, this stuff happened whenever I was a kid too, but just as a kid, it's just no big deal. And as I get older, it's like, oh God, it's more of a shock to the body, which is probably good though. You need extreme stuff. That way you're constantly on your toes and ready to go. My dog is driving me nuts over here. I guess I shouldn't have let him in. But it is Missouri. That is how Missouri is. I'm sure the rest of the country is that way. People see stuff, but that's everywhere I go in Missouri, that you just, what is it? If you don't like the weather, wait 30 minutes or something like that. So we went over quite a bit. Tools, went over custom tools I've made. We went over some weird emissions things that may help with emissions, and I'd like to see long-term tests. I hope that people buy these and do long-term tests. But the sad thing is there's so many naysayers of emissions that they probably won't. Oh, you can see him back there. Where is he? Right over here. Big old black German Shepherd. So since there's so many people against emissions that think that we shouldn't have any, which I believe we shouldn't have near as strict, it should be more, what's the word, platonic or whatever, where basically the government's like, hey, as long as the manufacturers are progressing to make emissions better, great. But when government gets involved and mandates and makes it extremely difficult for manufacturers to meet emissions, and then it's a trickle down to where the consumer basically pays for the testing. I think it's BS. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be a trickle down, but in the end, the customer in the last several years is definitely paying the bill. The manufacturer is, the price of vehicles have skyrocketed, and well, I'm sure it has something to do with all of that. So, okay, I will see you. Today's Wednesday. We'll do a live stream Sunday at 6. I hope to have another little bit of something. I'll come up with something. Either I'll do a little more research on what we kind of went over on these things, or I will have a new subject. If you guys want to talk about a certain subject, leave a comment on this, and let me know what you guys want to talk about. So I will see you in the next one. See you. Thanks a lot for coming. Have a good night.